Okay. Well, first of all, good morning to everybody here. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. I hope your summer is starting off well, and we are, I think, ready to get started. First of all, my name is Mandy Chan, and I'm the founder of Vidigami. Shala is our content marketing manager, and as you know, she's doing a great job in getting us, kicked off with this product webinar this morning. First of all, let me thank all of you for choosing Vidigami for storing and sharing your school memories. I believe that photos and videos are as important to education today as reading and writing is, because it's part of our culture. It's shaping how we interact, how we communicate, and in the classroom, how learning is happening with every project, with every presentation. We are committed to helping our schools leverage all the photos and videos that are taken throughout the school year by the teachers, the kids, the community, and to help build that collection of life and work photos for the personal media portfolios of every student. And to help you make the most of your media and Vidigami service, all of you have a client success manager that I know that you know already. Please be sure to schedule your one-on-one meeting with them and help them understand what you would like to achieve with Vidigami this upcoming school year, or what you'd like to be able to do with your media at school, because they're here to help you and support you in making all of that happen. Now, to kick off this presentation, we are going to spend the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes reviewing some of the features that were released during the course of the school year. And because many of you, once school gets started, may not have had an opportunity to learn very much about the feature or take advantage of it. Then we're going to look at the new features that are going to be part of this upcoming school year. And that's going to be released over the course of the next couple of months as we get started. So first of all, what I'd like to emphasize is, Vidigami is a private and secure environment. So its foundations is on giving our schools, control over user management and content management, to be able to easily collect and organize that content, and then to be able to access it. Last year, the first thing we did was we introduced Insights. For those of you who are not familiar with Insights, is accessible through your admin panel, and this gives you a snapshot of the system's usage and activity. It gives you who your active users are, your activations, uploads, downloads, and all the photos that are tagged. The next one is the ability to be able to import photos into Vidigami. So as many of our users have started, uploading photos from the current school year, and many are starting to move photos from their archives, into Vidigami. And some of that content is actually stored in, applications like Adobe Lightroom. And many schools have actually invested a lot of time and energy into tagging those photos with contextual tags, with people tags, and what have you. Last year, we implemented the support for, Iptc. Iptc is a industry standard way of being able to capture, metadata. And so what we're enabling is the ability for you to set up Iptc import. So what you need to do is let your client success manager know that this is something you want to be able to do. And what that means is you're going to be able to export all your metadata out of applications like Adobe Lightroom along with the images. And when it gets imported into Vidigami, we will retain all that metadata or the keywords as part of your metadata. So if you flip to the next slide, the keywords, that you have added in Lightroom will get captured as metadata in Vidigami. So now you can search on, year, dates, whatever, you would have designated. And also all the tags that you've made for students or members will also be captured. When we import the names from the Iptc tags into Vidigami, they will not be used as face tags. They will simply be used as context tags. So you can still search on a user's name. It just won't contribute to building their set of reference photos. Okay, so that will make it very easy for a lot of you to be able to start moving content into your Rewind Year setup in Vidigami. Another feature that was released was watermarking for copyright images. So for many of our schools who are using professional photographers or who want to protect photos from being downloaded, what this feature allows users with manager level and up, or custom roles to be able to do, is designate any photo that's uploaded with a watermark. And this will protect that photo from being downloaded by users of your community, or for anyone to screen grab that image. And if you're interested in seeing how all of this works, I can do a demo of it later, or we can follow up and share with you the tutorial videos following this webinar. I think the great thing about this is directly within the descriptions of that image, you have the ability to actually add a website link to the image. So if you want to direct your viewer into where they can get the professional version, or to your professional photographer, you can actually add the website link in that image. Okay, next. We also expanded the ability to be able to do face tags for members of your community other than your staff and teachers and the students, so that for schools who really want to leverage Vidigami to build community, many of them have the parents and grandparents in the system as well. Now, just as you're able to go and tag your students and your staff and teachers, you can start typing in John Smith's mother, and you can tag that parent immediately. And just as photos are added to the student's personal collection, these parents or these family members will also start building their own personal portfolio, their own experience with Vidigami, as part of their account. Now, the way this works is, for existing schools, you're going to have to ask your client success manager to enable it, because by default it is not enabled. For new schools, by default it is enabled. So everybody will be able to tag everybody who is a member of the system. And if that's not what you want to see happen, please let your client success manager know. Okay, and one of the most important features we introduced last year was the reorganization of the portfolio, the media portfolio for all of our students. Now, it used to be that your student life photos and your student work photos were all part of the same portfolio. You see all of it as part of everything that a kid does, each year. As of last spring, we introduced the concept of student life and student work. What that means is, when a photo is face tagged, it immediately gets added to a student's student life. When a photo is tagged as creator, it gets immediately added to the student's work portfolio. So you can have multiple students added as creator to a project or to a piece of work, and that image or that video will get added to all the students' work portfolio at the same time. The next slide is video. So we released last fall, we introduced the support for long form video. Many of you use this feature where you're able to embed YouTube links and Vimeo links directly within Vidigami. The benefit of this was that, the long graduation videos, Christmas concerts, you are able to index within Vidigami, and you can add context tags, titles, descriptions, and it gets delivered out to your community just as any other piece of media would. They would be advised that new content has been uploaded, and they'll be able to see and experience that video directly within your school's Vidigami environment. And then the short form video is really the ability to be able to take the recorded video off your mobile devices in the classroom and be able to upload it directly within Vidigami. And this is your MPEG-4 videos. We call this your native video. This typically was intended to capture, moments in the classroom or, presentations. And in our beta, we limited these videos to about a minute. And we realized, based on our feedback from our beta schools, that was inadequate to fully capture everything in the classroom. So that's been increased as part of our release for the new school year to 5 minutes of video. And we can talk about that more, but the 5 minutes of video is in standard format. So if you are using high def video, that it's going to be slightly shorter. And if you use, lower quality video, you'll be able to record longer videos. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. What I want to talk about now are the features that are going to be coming out for the fall. Okay, first of all, we are getting more and more organized, and we're improving our process all the time in being able to support you to get started. The first thing you should do is to schedule time with your client success manager so that we can update you on the process of onboarding for the new school year, how we're handling the rollover of your previous year's students and your content. And this year we are updating our processes and streamlining it more with direct integrations with our SIS partners, including Veracross, PowerSchool, and Blackboard. So without getting into too much detail about that, please go and schedule and book an appointment with your client success manager. Okay. So the next slide is basically a visualization of how the integrations are being added. And what that means is, once you're set up, we'll be able to automate the process of integrating with your student information systems year over year, much more efficiently than ever before. Next slide. Okay, getting auto tag ready. So what we want to talk about here is this is another program that your client success manager will work with you on. What we've realized over the course of this last year is that, for how well our facial recognition has worked has been so variable depending on the school, mostly because of setup. And so what we want you to be able to do is make sure that your school is really auto tag ready. When your school is auto tag ready, it means that about a third of your students and your staff or your members, have sufficient reference photos so that it's trained our system to be able to go and identify, new photos that are uploaded of that student or the staff member. And when this happens, it can be very, very effective. So for example, in the Tilton school, we found, Peter is the head of school. They did a fantastic job of onboarding, their users and being able to train the system to be able to recognize, the students and the teachers. And with about, 5 reference photos, you can see that the system has gone and identified over 1,400 photos of Peter over the course of the school year. What's also important to know is that, we want to keep the message very simple, for our schools and for our users. We want to encourage them to just go and tag. By tagging the photos, the system will know who's ready to, who's trained and who's ready to be recognized and who is not. It also engages your community in something that is very, very valuable, because as much as the system can automate and enhance and augment the number of recognitions, there are so many photos that are in the system that actually are not recognizable. And what we mean by that is, even though the faces are detected, they can't be recognized because they're one of, 20 pictures in a group photo, so the image is too small. There's a lot of blurring. So, for a lot of sports photos, there's a lot of motion blur, or the angles of the faces. So it's important, if you want to keep the message simple, to just encourage everybody to go and tag, because tagging is easy. You just select a face and you select a name, and it's basically tagged. And in towards the middle part of this year, we're going to be updating our mobile app, and in that release, we're going to be able to provide you with suggestions that further improve the ability to to show how we are automating the process of recognition and tagging. Next slide. Okay, so another feature that you may or may not have noticed is that users are now able to use their social accounts to log into Vidigami. So with the goal of making it easier and easier to access Vidigami, when you log in, new users will be able to indicate whether they want to log in using their social accounts. Do we provide any information to your social account vendors like Facebook or Google or Microsoft? No, we do not. We just basically link their social account to their user credentials so that they can access their Vidigami account a lot more readily. Next slide. For existing users, they can now link their social accounts to Vidigami, and that can be done directly on their own by going into their account profiles and adding their social media accounts. Really straightforward. Next slide. To improve some organizations and visuals, we've added a drop-down menu called Go to Category in your Browse directory, so that you can very easily go and jump to the different groups within your school. Next. This feature, we know is going to be a very valuable one. So last year, we opened up the ability for you to be able to designate, students who want to opt out of the system. By opting out, any photo that's flagged of the student immediately gets unshared and added into your reported media bucket and in your admin panel. Now, within the student's profile, you have the ability to indicate that this student has no photo release. When you do that, what happens is you'll notice the little red eye with a cross, with a strike across it. It will be indicated in your thumbnail, so that this photo has you don't have permission to be able to go and use it for marketing purposes very readily. So this will be visible on all, so you indicate on the student profile, and then it'll be visible on all images which that student is tagged in. Okay, next. Photo size increase. So, we've capped the upload limit to the images uploaded into Vidigami at 20 megabytes to date. As of this release, we will support images of up to 40 megabytes. We hope that this addresses, questions from schools who are interested, who've asked us whether or not we can, import or store their raw images. We still will not support raw images, because raw images comes with a variety of technical issues related to where the image is, what camera that image is captured from. And we think by increasing the size of the file image itself will allow you to be able to export that image in the highest possible resolution, and then upload, into Vidigami. And as you know, that image upload is, we always retain the original size that it's uploaded, and so you can be sure that at 40 megabytes, you'll always be able to retain, the resolution of this image that you need. Next. For our schools who have signed up for Rewind, we are adding the ability to support your digital yearbook library. So what that means is you need to contact your client success manager to let us know that this is something you want to do. But if you sign up to use Rewind as your school repository of photos from all the previous years, before you join Vidigami, then we will be able to open up the ability to host your digital yearbooks directly in Vidigami. Now, you have to have those yearbooks digitized, because everybody has different yearbooks and quantities and qualities and what have you, but we can certainly help you in making that happen. So what that means is, when you open it up to your school community or to your alums, you've got all your school memories in one place. Okay, slideshows. Okay, we know for those of you who have been using sets and publishing slideshows out of Vidigami, we know how powerful it is, how much of a time savings it offers, and also how frustrating it's been that we haven't provided you with the ability to be able to order the photos in a way that allows you to tell your story, but rather it just is organized based on, by default, the order that they sit in your albums. So as of this school year, you're going to be able to go into your sets, and you're going to be able to drag and drop all your images, drag and drop the images in your set into the order that you want it displayed, in your slideshow. And now the thing to note here is if you're going to be using, native video, your short form video, you have the potential of being able to add video into your slideshows as well. Here's a few more great things that we are enabling for slideshows. If you want to display the title of that image, all you would have to do is enable that and add a title in the more info box of the image, and it will show up as a little banner, on your slideshow. You also have the ability to be able to make your background transparent. So today, when you go and create and publish a slideshow, if it doesn't fit within the parameters of the slideshow, the background will by default be dark. You will be able to go and set that to be transparent so it fits better into your web page or wherever that slideshow is being embedded. And you're also going to be able to disable this Go to Album button, on the bottom right-hand corner. Now, the reason we want to enable this is more and more what schools are doing is they're using this slideshow as essentially a highlights reel or a trailer reel that gets published into their Facebook or into their Twitter feeds, to promote to potentially incoming families or, do much broader promotions. And what that does is it takes away, the ability for, unintended audiences to click on that button, go and try to get access to Vidigami when they don't have, an account. So that is another feature that is enabled. All of this, again, we can get into more detail of, I can show you, or Shala has got video clips that walk through how you would be able to make all this happen. Vidigami Studio. This is going to be located in the top right-hand corner of the Vidigami app, where when you click into it, we will take you into applications that support access to the Vidigami repository. One of these applications is the Peekaboo Yearbook Editor. What we have enabled now, and you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, is for Vidigami to be a photo source for Creator Studio, meaning that your sets of photos are all going to be organized within Vidigami, and they can map directly into your yearbook editor. When you open up that set in Creator Studio, you can easily import that into your yearbook. Now, this in itself is there's a big tutorial around how all of this works. So my goal today is really just to highlight, the benefits of these integrations and our commitment to continually work, with you to help you make the most out of your photos, whether that is in publishing it online on your websites, enabling it to be used in portfolios, or integrating it with valuable tools, such as your yearbook publishing software. Here's a perfect example of, this integration. So once you have, access to the Vidigami sets, you can now take the share links to your slideshows, and you can embed that in your QR code of your yearbook. And now when they have the yearbook, they can be taken directly into Vidigami to see the basically, the event live. And we think that this is going to really bring to life, the more interactive multimedia experience that complements, the tradition of yearbooks. This is perfect for, capturing, the grade 7, the graduation, party, and publishing it in your yearbook before the graduation party and ceremony ever happens, right? So we can do separate examples of that. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to add is the great thing about this is once, if you are using a Peekaboo Yearbooks or a partner vendor, a digital version of that yearbook will automatically get added to the school library that I talked about as part of your Rewind service. So year over year, a digital version of that yearbook library just gets added to your library for your families and students and alums. Another integration that I'm very, very excited about is with Microsoft Office 365. We've implemented what they call an add-in, which essentially authenticates and opens up the Vidigami repository directly within your Office 365 applications, most specifically, PowerPoint. By doing that, you're essentially enabling your staff and teachers and potentially your students to take advantage of, all the great, moments, photos, for presentations. And when you combine it with design ideas, it's pretty exciting because you transform, those photos into incredible presentations. The way that Vidigami works is also very exciting in the sense that even if your photo, the original photo, is stored at, 20 megabytes in Vidigami, and you have, other photos that are uploaded at 1 megabyte or 2 megabytes, it will dynamically scale down the size of those images suitable for use within the your Office, presentation. This is part of our integration plans, is to, make available Vidigami to all, the most common tools, right, that could leverage, the media. Microsoft Office 365 was really our first, our initiative, and we're very excited, about it. Let me just show you quickly what it means, and you can extrapolate. Here you can see my PowerPoint, Office 365, right? All I did was I have to insert Vidigami as an add-in. When that happens, Vidigami will show up as a photo selector. Your sets of photos will appear. you basically click on the photo that you want to add, and it gets added to the image. The benefit of this is once I've selected the number of photos, all I have to do is go to Design Ideas, and I love to automatically apply how I want those photos to be laid out on that presentation, right? So, you know, when I look at these photos, this slide has 3, but there are so many different ways that these 3 photos, you know, can be presented, right? So I think it's just, you know, absolutely, you know, fabulous and very handy, making presentations, you know, super easy to create.
Awesome. And then what about PowerSchool integration? There's a question about that as well.
Yes, the PowerSchool integration is planned to be completed before the end of the month as part of this release. So we have identified the first handful of schools we'll be testing with over the next few weeks. And again, it'll be rolled out with everybody else come August as part of our onboarding process.
Awesome. So a few more questions, Mandy. Does the new metadata option include camera data, such as camera model, lens, shutter speed, etc.?
Yes, so that would be all the mechanical data that comes as part of the image. And if you look up Iptc, you'll be able to see the format in which the metadata is I would say structured, or how it's supposed to be captured. And so Iptc is the supported by Adobe, and in I think most, if not all, Adobe products.
Super. Is it possible to export directly from Lightroom into Vidigami to improve workflow?
In the past, there was a Lightroom plugin that allowed people to be able to go and import directly from Lightroom. The newest version disabled that, and so we looked into it, and really the best way to be able to do it is to export. And there's a video Shala can send out that shows you how you would set it up so that you can export the data out. And unfortunately, that's the best way for us to guarantee that it's done properly.
Is there a way of seeing how many users have purchased an item in the Vidigami school store, which I think is referring to the shop?
Right. At the moment, not, because we were going through the beta. As we streamline our shop experience, we will make it a lot more self-service.
Super.
So maybe changing the way that we're offering, the ability to use shop in the new school year.
Awesome. There's another question is, how can we tell if we have parent tagging enabled?
For existing schools, you need to request it. For new schools, by default, it is enabled. So when you go into your admin panel, you will have all your users, and under tag media, you will be able to see whether or not there has been any tags of any of the parents if you filter by parent.
Okay. Will you be adding support for long form video links for Blackboard on campus?
We do not have that in place right now, but we are actually talking to both Blackboard and Finalsite, and we're looking at enhanced integrations so that we can embed both photos and videos between Resource Manager and their system a lot more readily. We just don't have a commitment on time frame at this point in time.
Awesome. Where can we find out more about the integration with Blackboard and how to use it effectively?
schedule a call with your client success. The Blackboard integration, we're already working with our first handful of schools to do that integration, and then it'll be fully rolled out to everybody else in August.
Perfect. With the integration with Final Site for the rollover, does that include all roles, for example, faculty and staff too?
The rollover is independent of Final Site. So when we do the rollover, it is going to be consistent for all users. So it would be for students, faculty, staff, and families.
Is there any plan, Mandy, to add the ability to order photos in albums the same way you do so in sets?
We are planning to do a bit of a reorganization so that we provide users with a lot more flexibility, for the 2019-20 school year. And with the changes that we're making, you'll have so much more flexibility in terms of how you want to be able to set categories, rename categories, organize and view photos, and all of those things. This year we've tried to give, I think, make sufficient changes to make the system more usable, but more flexibility next school year for sure. So so more and more what we'd like to do is to share out these applications and best practices. We've started releasing app notes on a regular basis. If you've got some great applications or ideas in terms of how you've used Vidigami that you'd like to be able to share with other schools, we would really welcome you sending it our way or sharing it with your client success manager, and we will hopefully be able to give all of you some great ideas in terms of how you're going to be able to leverage your content better and better as we move forward. I think we've covered the key points. I know there's a lot of details, so if you have any other questions, please feel free to email us. You can reach me at any time at mandy@vidigami.com, or suggestions can go into support@vidigami.com or to your client success managers. So I hope, thank you for joining us. I hope you have a terrific rest of the summer, and we look forward to working with you in the new school year.